time. How we doing, folks? Good to see you this Wednesday. Everybody hear me okay? We good?
We're good.
All right, excellent. I was working on a collaboration there with a guy named Rene Rodriguez that teaches a concept called Amplify, and we're looking at doing something together. And thank you for being here. I don't know if you've been here all 8 weeks. This is, I think, our 9th week. This is a bonus week because I didn't get to the entire book when we were doing the book club. So I want to thank you for showing up today. And what I'm basically doing is breaking down the book. I created the book club because many authors, when I bought books or purchased books, I've never got to spend any personal time with the author. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool if we could just go through the book, me go through it and read it, and then I could break the book down. Obviously, you know, our hope and desire is that if you're not in our coaching programs, we really want to get you to consider being in our coaching programs, because I believe that the speaking opens the mind and the coaching changes the life. And I believe that you need a frequency. One of the number one things that I do in my coaching program is I coach every single week, every Monday. And I think the people who are in here in my program would tell you that that one session serves. All right, let's try that again because my Mac computer went dead. So what I said, that the purpose of the Monday call is to activate and reactivate the prey drive inside of a person. And if you're struggling with consistency of prey drive, if you're struggling with just that, keeping that prey drive active and excited, then I really think you need a coach in your life and on a consistent. And that's really what a lot of people struggle with. Okay. Now, how many people have got to chapter 10 in the book yet? Anybody? How many people in the entire book? Look at all my overachievers. Jody, what about you? We got to get you on the game. We got to get you going here, girl. All right. So look, Michael Miller, thank you very much. All right. So we are covering today chapter 10. And the reason I started with kind of the coaching program is because one of the number one things I see people do is they have cycles when their prey drive is high. And then they lose their prey drive. The prey drive goes dormant. So there's periods where it's like I'm engaged, I'm in a rhythm, I'm in a flow, and then life kind of knocked the shout out of me, and I kind of lost my prey drive. How many of you have lost your prey drive? Okay, and so think of energy as dynamic. It is dynamic, it is static, or it is entropic. Okay, I want you to think of life like this. I am dynamic, I am static, or I am entropic. Now, let me give you some other words that people use. Okay, I'm bored, I'm stuck, I'm lost, I'm confused, I don't have clarity. Everybody see that? So I kind of lost the drive to go get it, to get up and go get it. Okay, I'm too busy. I call that too busy being fabulous, by the way. I'm too busy being fabulous. So when I wrote this book, I said, okay, how do I teach people how to go into battle every day? How do I solve the problem of complacency? How do I solve the problem of consistency? Okay, and how do I show a person how to just get this one concept? Nothing happens until your prey drive is activated. Okay, nothing happens until the prey drive is activated. Okay, so this is why I make the argument that I can know my purpose and still not be motivated. I can know this is what God put me on earth to do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. But man, I just don't feel like doing this today. I may say I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like being positive. I don't feel like prospecting. I don't feel like following up. I don't feel like engaging with people. And those are normal feelings. So what I'm trying to say in this chapter is to have this mindset. It all goes to zero at midnight. There comes a time when winter asks what I did all spring and summer. And I got to activate this thing every day. I got to activate this thing every single day. I got to prioritize and say, this is important that I activate this drive every single day. And I got to personalize it to me. Okay. So if you've ever heard me talk about this, the way I activate my pray drive is I do 4 things in the morning every day. One is I try to get out of any type of anxiety that I may have when I wake up through a couple mental tools. And one of those mental tools is recognizing that if you have the gift of vivid visualization, you can see in the mind's eye the possibilities. But when things don't go exactly the way you want, you immediately go to catastrophizing. It's called fantasizing and catastrophizing. It's where you see something, like I'm building a greatness factory, which is this big project. It's over budget. It's expensive. It's like, oh, you wasn't expecting this, and oh, that's $200,000 more dollars, and that's this. It's like, it's so easy to take something that's supposed to be so positive and go negative. and there's some days I'll catch myself going, man, why am I even doing this? Like, it's ridiculously expensive. It's like, I'm babysitting a bunch of grown adults trying to get it built. I'm like, this is miserable, but then I'm reminded my book says, which is one definition of passion is to suffer short term, to have something long term. See, on Friday, I'm driving down to Birmingham because there's a guy who's been in our coaching program who wants to take an office building and convert it to a greatness factory. See, I got people already won greatness factories around the country before I've even built the first one. So it's so easy to go to negative town. And when one thing doesn't go the way you visualized it, does everybody see that? And I'm convinced if you have a certain personality style like mine, high D, driven, really push hard, I'm convinced that you can go negative real quick when things don't go the way you want them to. Okay. And that's called fantasizing to catastrophizing. So I wake up naturally with anxiety because I coach about 2,000 people a month, and there's always a problem when you coach that many people, and there's always something going on. And so my mind will quickly jump to negative if I don't have a mechanism in place to keep it positive. Does everybody see that? So I wake up and the first thing I do is I listen to a positive song. It's a great day to be alive. Good morning. And I try to listen to something first that gets my energy in a different direction. Okay. Then I feed my faith, typically by watching a sermon. I'm getting up right now with our 8-month-old daughter and getting her up in the morning. She gets up around 5:30, although she did make a surprise get up at 3:05 a.m. last night. So I got up with her at 3:05. Then I got up with her at 5:30, and you would be shocked. And let me tell you this is a lesson I've learned. Typically, that's my wife doing that. But my wife had surgery last week, so I'm doing this. And then I'm like, man, this is such an incredible way to start the day with my 8-month daughter. Like it puts me in such a mindset of gratitude. Sitting there, how could you be upset when you're sitting there holding your 8-month-old daughter? You know what I'm saying? It's like, why haven't I been doing this more? So then while I'm holding her, feeding her, watch a sermon. Okay, we watch a sermon, and that feeds my faith. Okay, and then I want to get into something physical. I want to get my body moving in something. That's exercise. It could be going to the gym, but because I'm doing this with the kids, I'm not going in the morning. I typically try to get exercise in before I start teaching and speaking and coaching. So now I'm getting my body going. And then I finish when I get dressed to listen to something on business. Now I'm getting my mind going. Now, if you notice what I did there, I fed my spirit, I fed my heart, I fed my mind, and I fed my body. Everybody see those 4 things? So I woke up and I go, man, all right, guys, I've been doing this 31 years. If you think I feel like, If you think I always feel like doing things, you would be wrong. Okay. Some days I'm like, man, oh, Coach Burt just like to get up and do nothing today. You know how many days I get to do nothing? Very few. Okay. So I'm like, you know what, man, it'd be nice to lay here on the couch and just do nothing. That's what everybody thinks, right? Sometimes we'd like just to lay around and do nothing. So what I'm here in the book is I can know my purpose and still not be motivated. So I got to prioritize and personalize my prey drive. That works for me. It may not work for you. Okay. But the way I do it feeds the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit by breakfast. Now, I also talk in this book about celebrating. Big time people, okay, big time people do not spend long cycles of time celebrating. They typically get a win and then they're on to a new win. Okay, I asked Tim Grover once, how long did Michael Jordan celebrate after he won a championship? And he said, typically one day, one night, and that was it. Then he's on to the next one. Then he's on to the next move. See, a lot of people have a sale and then they just sit for a while and then they never get better and they don't improve and they kind of live off the past. How many of you know somebody that lives off the past? And they talk about the past. Okay, see, to me, the past is finite. It's fixed. We can't change it. The future, infinite. It holds unlimited possibility. So what I got to do is I got to go from mental creation into physical creation. Okay. So I could sit here all day long and talk about what I'm going to do, or I could get into action about what I'm actually going to do. Okay. And so basically what I'm saying in chapter 10 is your prey drive has got to be activated every day, but it's got to be personal to you. Some of you may talk, some of you may ride a bike, some of you may listen to this, some of you may do this, but how many of you, when you don't have the conditions right, can start off in the sewer cycle and go down the wrong path easily? And the whole day is negative. You had a deal fall through. You had something, a bill hit you. This happened. This broke down. And the next thing you know, you've gone to negative town. And it's just a spiral that just keeps going. Like, I know when I don't exercise in the morning, I'm in a funk. I know when if I get home and I haven't exercised that day, I tell my wife, I'm like, I have to go exercise, even if it's for 30 minutes, because if not, I'm going to be in a bad attitude. Okay. And I don't want that. Okay. That's personal to my prey drive. Okay. When I was a basketball coach, there's certain things I did before a game to get ready and prepared for a game. Okay. Call it superstition, call it whatever, but it's like my prey drive is personalized. Okay. And that's really what chapter 10 is about. Now, when you move into chapter 11, I get into that I'm considering writing a book about, which is the habits of the top 1% of performers. And I'm going to throw a term out here you don't hear me use a lot: competitive intelligence. What I really build in people is what I call competitive intelligence. There's emotional intelligence, there's spiritual intelligence, there's intellect quotient. Competitive intelligence is I teach people how to win. And I teach them how to win by the whole person, body, mind, heart, and spirit. Okay. What I'm thinking about doing is kind of writing this book on this concept of the habits of the 1% performers, habits of the top performers in the world. Okay. But if I had to sum it down, Sarah Cook, into one habit that the top people have, it is remarkable boldness. All right, now let me show you a trick I got. I got home last night. My wife said, you got a gift in the mail, because I get these gifts from people around the world, and they send me gifts because they read the book and they saw me on YouTube or whatever the case. And it was one Nike red and black Air Jordan tennis shoe. One. Okay, my size, 9.5. And I opened it and it was a letter. And the gentleman said, Coach Burt, I'm reading your book, Flip the Switch. And I want to thank you for teaching me how to activate my prey drive. And I really want to give you the other shoe, but I just need to spend 15 minutes with you so I can send the shoe to you. And I thought, now that was creative. I thought, okay, But more than creative, you know, the first thing that came to my mind, remarkable boldness. So he put his phone number in there, and I called him on the way to the lodge today. And I had a great conversation with him. And he said he's been doing this for years, sending it to people like me. He said every one of them calls him back. He's got a 100% ratio of people calling him back. And because I really want that other Jordan. and so he said, I said, what do you want me to do, man? I mean, what are you really asking me? And he said, I'm a national sales director of certified mortgage planners. And we're using your book in our book club right now. And I just want you, it'd be great if you could be on my podcast. And I said, I'd be done. Fair enough. Okay. Now send that shoe to the house. No, just joking. I said, I tell you what, I'll do one more for you. Because when a man asks you to go 1 mile, I believe you should go 2. I said, what if I came in and did a session for your team? Since you guys are using my book club, what if I did a 30-minute session with your team on my book? Would that help you? He said, man, that'd be incredible. See, look at what the guy got out of me by being bold. See, that to me, it was creative. And anything I told my wife, I said, that's remarkable bold right there. The dude bought a pair of Jordans, found my shoe size, found my personal house address, which kind of freaked me out. But then he said, I thought, man, that is remarkable boldness, man. And I believe in remarkable boldness. So when you get into the habits of the top performers, I go over these. To me, I think this will be a great book. How many of you would buy a book if the book was Habits of the Top 1%? And I broke all of them down. Okay. So you look at what these habits are, and some people say attributes, skills, but remarkable boldness right at the top. If I could give my kids one thing that I have, it would be remarkable boldness. Okay. Which is striking fearlessness. That's what remarkable boldness is. See, that dude, he didn't have any fear. He just did it, which was impressive to me. Okay. And people who are remarkably bold respect other people who are remarkably bold. Okay. So boldness is, I have no fear of asking you for something. I have no fear of asking you to take action on my coaching programs. I have no fear of rejection. I have no fear of you making fun of me. I have no fear of embarrassment. I have no fear of anything. That is remarkable boldness. And if you look at every top leader, you know, they have this. Then you look at number 2, intrinsic motivation. This is what ties back to because goals. A because goal, if you remember, is a big reason you do things when you don't feel like it. It's a big do things when you don't feel like it. I do this because of this. It's deep. I call it steam in the engine. There's deep steam in the engine. And it's like, where did that come from? Now, let me tell you a little secret as a coach that I use. I don't care where it comes from. See, one of the most successful basketball coaches I know, Angela Baker, I wrote a book with. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He's won over 1,000 games. He's one of the top coaches in college basketball. He's not a very tall guy. I'm taller than him. And people made fun of him when he was a kid. He wanted to be a great basketball player, and the other kids made fun of him because he wasn't that big and he wasn't that tall. And I believe that implanted a steam in the engine for him to make up his mind that he was going to become great. And I believe to this day, at almost 70 years old, that still drives him. I believe the fact that those kids made fun of him when he was a kid actually is his because goal, right? Like, I will show you that I will become one of the greatest. I may not be one of the greatest players, but I will become one of the greatest coaches of all time. Does everybody see that, how deep that is? That's an intrinsic motivation. So I tell people when I'm coaching them, I don't care what your because goals were. I don't care if it's because your parents were mean to you or other kids made fun of you or you grew up broke and in poverty. Like, all I want to know is, where is your steam in the engine coming from that you wake up every day with something to prove to the world? It's intrinsic. Okay, that's intrinsic motivation. What are your because goals? You tired of being number 5 when you could be number 1? You tired of watching other people prosper when it ought to be you? You tired of Like, at what point do you make a decision to go pro? So habit number is intrinsic motivation. Then we move to resilience, grit and resilience. Everybody kind of credits Angela Duckworth for this because she wrote the book Grit, okay, which became a national bestseller. Do anybody want to know why she wrote the book Grit, Ben Berry? Because her father told her she would never be smart enough to be successful. And she studied what made people successful. And guess what she found out? It ain't the smartest people that are the most successful. It's the toughest people who are the most successful. So she became an expert at grit, which is a combination of passion and perseverance. They just keep coming. Bad economy, they just keep coming. They just keep winning. Number 4, connection. This is a learned skill. How do you get better at connecting to people? I want you to write down this word, inclusion. Inclusion. I went to a church for 7 years that nobody ever said a word to me. It's a big mega church. And I sat up in the top, Ben Deal. And in Revelation, it talks about being alive. The church at Sardis had a reputation for being alive, but it was really dead. That was me. I was going to church on Sundays to check a box to say I went to church. Anybody ever been there? And I was sitting up at the top. It was an intellectual exercise for me. The pastor was very anointed. So to me, it's like going to college and learning, but it wasn't like going to worship. And 7 years I did this, guys. I was alive but dead spiritually. Checked off a box, went to church, could say I went to church. I never got involved in small group. I never did anything. Nobody ever talked to me, by the way. And I'm not saying it's their fault or my fault. I write about this in a book called Accountable Church. And then I decided I need a spiritual awakening. I need to recommit to my faith. And I went to my wife's brother's church, which was Assemblies of God, which was a totally different experience. It was raw and real, and I cried through the whole thing. I mean, from the time they started singing to the time I finished, I couldn't quit crying. And I thought, this is worship. Like, I haven't been to this before. And I came back and I said, we're going to a new church. And I went to this new church. Week at church, the pastor called me outside and he said, look, you're very talented. God's given you some really incredible gifts. And I want to use those gifts in the church. I want you to help me. I want you to teach a small group, and I want you to teach businessmen in our church. Because I'm a country boy, and I fish and I hunt, and I don't relate well to the business dudes. And man, I think we could use your talents here in this church. And let me ask you a question. Do you think that improved my engagement or decrease my engagement? See, now I'm alive and I'm using my talents. Now I'm engaged. Now, here's the deal. What did that pastor know? He understood this habit, connection. I equate a connection with inclusion. How do I include people's talents into something? How do I make them feel important to be a part of what it is we're doing? How do I enroll people? Some of you guys are in the business of enrolling real estate agents and adding people to your team. Number one thing you ought to be doing is this, helping people find their talents and include their talents. Like, use their talents. Hey, you're really good at this. You're really good at putting on events. Help me put on an event. You're really good at this. Help me do this. Man, you're really good at this. Let's see if we can do something together. See, I was on the phone with a strategic partner, a guy that I've been wanting to do an event with for a while. He's really good at what he does, and I'm good at what I do. And I go, so I called him. I said, man, let's combine your talents and my talents together. He said, I'm in. Sounds great. I've been wanting to do something with you for a long time. See, to me, inclusion. Habit number 4, connection. And habit number 5, the ability to lock in and get through to its conclusion. The ability to lock in and see it through to its conclusion. You have a dream, you have a goal, you see that goal through until you bring it to a close. See, I'm not going to stop on this greatness factory. I got to figure out my financing. I got to get creative. I got to do whatever I got to do. But here's the deal. I don't give up on it because it gets hard. Does everybody see that? And we're living in a society today where when things get hard, people quit. That's the number one thing they want to do. They want to quit because it's hard. This is not this habit. So the reason I put this in the book is because I'm kind of fascinated by these habits. And to me, this is prey drive. I mean, you got these 5 things, you're going to win. You're going to win if you got these 5 things. Okay. These are also 5 things that are, at the end of the day, what I would consider people of interest. If you have these things, you are a person of interest. Okay. Now, that's the book, folks, right there. Flip the switch. Okay. I would tell you, out of all the books I've written, it's the best book I've ever written. It's the D book. It's the best edited book. But I really do will help you. And I think it will solve a problem for you, which is teaching you how to activate your prey drive every single day. Now, I want to take just a few questions, and I got to get back and teach here. Many of you are in my coaching program that meets every single week. Right now, we are running a 2-for-1 special on that program. It means you can get 2 people in. We've lowered the prices for recession, what I call recession pricing, to help people. And if there's ever been a good end, this is it. Okay, this gets weekly coaching for me. There's a 6-month option and a 1-year option. And if you're interested in that, I want you to reach out to us and let's see if we can get you into something so that we can get you going and get you moving. Okay, because after today, I mean, we've gone 9 days book club, 9 weeks on the book club, or every weeks, and it's been fun. But really, what you need is somebody in your life every week, and you need somebody watching you every week, and you need somebody challenging you every week, and you need somebody growing you every week, and you need to learn how to reactivate this prey drive every single week. So if you're out there and you're interested, we're gonna get one of our coaches. So Kelly, why don't you put your email address in there, and then it could be Kelly at coachbert.com, who will be contacting you, or it could be Ryan Hall that could be contacting you. But basically what we want to do is just have a conversation with you and see how we can help you from A to B. And maybe it's not that coaching program. Maybe you want to come to our couples retreat. We've got one coming up in the next few weeks. Maybe you want to put your kids in success school, which I think everybody's to be in success school. Maybe you want to come to a boot camp. I'm teaching Purpose to Profit right now upstairs. It's been phenomenal with people. So I really want to encourage you. So Brittany, we typed that in, Brittany at coachbert.com or Kelly at coachbert.com. Do is just a strategy call with you. What are you trying? That's what they're going to ask you. What are you trying to do? And then we listen, and then we prescribe. And if there's some kind of way we can help you, then that is the way we want to help you. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Because it's going to be our last day of the book club. Michelle Ellis, we're coming to Canada at some point, right? Michelle's working on me coming up to Canada, and I'm excited about it. I've never been to Canada. Can you guys believe that? I have of all the places I've been to in the world, I've never been to Canada.
I'm really excited. I'm like trying to pick the perfect venue, and I'm like got it down to 2 now. So we'll see.
Okay, super. Well, I'm excited about coming up there. We'll make it an incredible experience for you. So I promise you, Angela will tell you, we come in there and deliver the goods.
It's going to be amazing, Michelle. You're going to have the time of your life.
Thank you. And just so you guys know, I'm looking at a way, I've almost come up with a way to include all of you guys in something to help everybody. And there's a financial win for everybody. So I haven't rolled it out yet, but I've been thinking of ways to include people's talents on a bigger scale, because we put out there that I was hiring new people, and we had over 50 applicants. We had over 50 applicants in the first 3 days to come work with me. And so I'm not very good at hiring people, so my wife don't let me. So because I think if people show up and smile and they got dressed that morning, I'm like, you're in, let's go. So I put together a little committee that's helping me do that. And but I'm find a way to really use everybody's talents, just to be honest with you. and tap into everybody's skill sets so that everybody can make some money. You know, if you're looking for side money, I'm trying to find a way to help people make that extra money to bridge the gap. A lot of studies, people are working 2 jobs in today. And so, you know, so I'm trying to say, hey, if you believe in me and you believe in our message and we can help people, there could be, we could work together. Okay. So just be on the lookout for that. Okay. All right. I don't see any questions on here. Thank you. Okay. Michael Miller, you got a question? Go for it.
No, I just want to, I really appreciate your closes here. Have you seen enough to make a decision? It
Yep.
seems like this might be a good fit for you.
Yep.
You know, it really is a soft, gentle way to approach someone. I really appreciate that. So I've taken a photograph of that and sent that page to all of my friends that are in this profession and seen if this could help them and share your book with them. So I just wanted to, that was
Yep.
probably one of my biggest takeaways. I always get like 2 or 3 when I sit down for
Yep.
15, 20 minutes to read this book. I can always think of 2 or 3 takeaways that I get from that session. So
Yep.
I just wanted to acknowledge that. And plus, I found out your home address in probably 90 seconds. So while we were on this call, so it's pretty easy. I just want to say thanks. I've enjoyed our time together. Thanks, Coach.
All right, there you go. I lost you there for a second.
Yeah,
All
I don't
right.
know if you cut up, but I just wanted to thank you. I really enjoyed our time together. Thank you much.
Thank you. Just so it knows, a soft way to ask the question is, out of everything I shared, what piqued your interest the most? Out of everything I shared with you, what piqued your interest the most? Okay. That's what I call my sweet tea and apple pie close. It's real soft, but it sounds like feels like. Seems like you want to, it sounds like this is perfect. It feels like to get started. Am I right about that? Okay. Go through all of that in the book. So make sure you read parts. Okay. All right. We got 2 coaches, Kelly at coachbird.com, Brittany at coachbird.com. Reach out to those coaches. Okay. We'd love to help you guys. It's been a great 9 weeks. The recordings will be sent out. So if you're in the book club, you'll get the recordings. Yes, we'll put them on YouTube and it'll be a experience. We want to go back and watch all of those. I want to thank you, number one, for buying my book. I want to thank you for making it a hit and helping me sell more copies of this than any book I have ever. So I want to thank you for the push. I may still take another shot. Top 5 on the Wall Street Journal list. We're working on a few strategies for that. And that has to do with just a large number of units at one time. So we're looking at 3,000 units in a given week. That would put me back in the top 5 on the Wall Street Journal list. So we're actually toying around with some to go back and make another run at that. So just be on the lookout for that. Thank you. God bless you. Everybody needs a coach. Thank you for letting me be, man. Love you guys. God bless you.